Hey everybody, Rose Matter here. Welcome to part 8 of my Fate Stay Night Heaven's Feel Let's Play. Last episode, we had an interesting encounter with Zoken, Mato Zoken, with Tosaka and Shiro going out at night to try and, you know, see what is going on with this whole thing with, you know, the people getting put into comas and the energy being zapped from people. And they ran into Zoken, but what was not expected was this, like, shadowy figure that is not assassin. I don't know what he is. He could be assassin, I don't know, but it was, like, something completely different, something that even Zoken himself was terrified of, and Zoken seems to be working with assassin, right? So, yeah, it was like they basically had Zoken, like they had pretty much like cut him in half. They were ready to finish him off, and then the shadowy thing appears, and Shiro ends up getting attacked by it and just like passes out and has like horrible nightmares. And he had a dream where it's like he felt like he had seen that thing in his dream before. It's like something that everybody, even like this, you know, Saber and Archer, are afraid of this thing. But that seems to be completely separate from any of the other servants, so I don't know what is going on there. But of course, Zoken is like a cockroach. He ended up being able to rejuvenate his body by attacking a random woman. So he's not dead yet, unfortunately. So he's still skulking around, but now we've got this other threat to deal with. So we're dealing with the aftermath of that. So yeah, let's get back into it. Let's see what happens next.
じゃあ行くぞ、さくら。せーの、じゃんけん。
I stick out a clenched fist. Sakura extends an open palm. I have rock, and Sakura has paper. I look at my fist. I did it again. Why do I always use rock as my first move? That's okay. It just reminds me of like an old Simpsons episode where like Bart and Lisa do rock, paper, scissors, and then Lisa's like, poor predictable Bart always picks what is it? Always picks rock or something, and then Bart's like, good old rock, nothing beats that.
それじゃあ夕食の支度は私ということで、先輩はのんびりテレビでも見ててください。
I love for these two, it's to decide who gets to make dinner. For me, it'd be the opposite. It's like who has to make dinner. Sakura skips off to the kitchen. She must be happy that she gets to make dinner all by herself.
仕方ないか。勝った方が飯を作る約束だもんな。
I take off my apron and sit down. I don't know about other people, but cooking dinner seems like a favorite pastime for us. Except he even said himself he doesn't necessarily like cooking. It's not really true for me, but Sakura always wants to cook by herself. That's good in a way, but as her senpai, I can't let her do all the work. So when we're both bored like today, we fight over who gets to cook.
やることないし、お茶飲もう。
I brew some tea and sit at the table. Saber's sleeping in my room, and Fujine won't be coming since she's working overtime. Sakura and I are the only ones here. Am I watching her because I have nothing to do? Sakura's moving briskly about the kitchen, and she looks like she's having fun. Her familiar hair and her crimson ribbon. She handles the plates. She holds the heavy kitchen knife and places the cabbage on the cutting board. She cuts it with a yell. Sakura tenses up every time she starts to cut something, but she keeps cooking like she's used to after that. I watch it absent-mindedly. Does she have some sort of, like, trauma with knives? I don't like cooking things. I'm always afraid, because I have cut myself a couple of times, so I, like, have to brace myself whenever I've got to cut something. The evening living room. A daily life here with Sakura, where time passes slowly. I suddenly realize how hard this life is to obtain. It must be because I'll be going to battle at night. I finally realize how important this time is for me.
さくらを守らないと。
I don't know what Mato Zoken is planning, but I won't let him touch her. I've come in contact with Sakura too many times the past few days, causing me to be bewildered about her change. I thought I was confused by her femininity, but that's wrong. If I'm confused, it started long before that. I hear her humming in the kitchen. These simple, trivial things are important to me. I pour myself a third cup of tea and watch the red-tinted scenery. Maybe there's some alcohol in the tea because the passing time feels slow and tender. The town falls asleep. It's just past 10 o'clock, but it seems like it's midnight. It must be because of all the unexplained comas. There are no lights and nobody is walking about.
あの影を探し出し調査する。アーチャーのマスターも無茶を言ってくれますね。
ああ。けど、やるしかないだろ。セイバーは反対か？
私の考えは朝に告げた通りです。それでシロ、何か手がかりはあるのですか？闇雲に街を巡回するのでは逆に的にされかねない。
A clue, huh? I'm not positive, but... alright, so we want to investigate the temple, I believe. Yes, we do.
もう一度竜道寺に行ってみよう。今にして思うと、あの時のキャスターはどこか変だった。あそこにはまだ何かある気がする。
そうですね。あの山には不吉な気配が満ちています。この町で最も霊的な手が加えられているのはあの土地ですから。あの影とは別に一度調べてみる価値はある。
なら決まりだ。早速行こう。
We walk to the gate. We can reach the temple in an hour if we hurry. We don't have any time to lose, but...
Saber?
Saber is looking at the outbuilding. She's looking at Sakura's room, where Sakura should now be sleeping.
シロ、
Oh,
戦いに赴く前に話があります。
okay.
その朝の続きなのですが。
I was thinking, like, is she gone? Is Sakura, like, sleepwalking? Or is she somehow related to this, like, assassin or this shadow thing?
朝って、さくらのことか？
はい。さくらは自責の念が強すぎる。起きてしまったこと、犯してしまった間違いを、彼女は未来ではなく、現在で償おうとする嫌いがあります。
She must be talking about the quarrel they had yesterday. Saber said Sakura was right, so Sakura had no reason to worry about it. But Sakura said she was still at fault, went and apologized to Saber and had Saber apologize to her instead. Sakura and Saber. Saber must be worried about the difference in their thought process.
それはどういう？
さくらは自分を責めすぎるのです。過ちを正すことより悔いることを強要している。だから汚名を返上しようとするのではなく、汚名を刻みつけようとしてしまう。良くも悪くも彼女は自分を重くしている。
She talks with disgust. It sounds like she's talking about herself more than about Sakura.
昨夜、私はそれを強く感じました。シローと共にいる時の彼女が特別で、普段はもっと別のものではないのかと。さくらはあなたといる時だけ自責の念から解放されている。
That is the source of her concern. Sakura should be able to live with pride without needing to rely on another.
そうか。確かに、さくらは内気すぎるからな。
This is a weird thing for her to be bringing up right before we're about to be doing something potentially dangerous, but maybe this is related to it somehow? Now that Saber mentions it, it's not healthy for a girl Sakura's age to always be busy helping around the house. She says it's fun to be here, but she should at least go outside to hang out once in a while.
ありがとう、セイバー。さくらを心配してくれて。聖杯戦争に関係ないさくらを気にかけてくれたのはすごく嬉しい。
いいえ、自責に駆られる彼女の気持ちは私にもあったものです。
待てよ、セイバー。一緒に行こう。
We head to the gate together. We head outside within the silence, trying not to wake Sakura. We climb over the no trespassing fence into the temple. The Ryoto temple is now treated as important material evidence in the coma incident, and no one is allowed to enter. The night air is not any different. It's warm and it smells like ripe fruit.
中に入るぞ、セイバー。
はい。シローも気をつけて。
分かってる。危険を察知したらすぐに教えてくれ。
We go through the compound and climb up to the entryway. The wooden hallway is dark and the floor creaks with each step.
とりわけ変わったものはないか。セイバー、どうだ？
私も同じです。ですがこの一帯が異常なのは確かです。この山に踏み入った時から私たちは異なる常識に取り込まれている。これだけ魔力が満ちていながら異常を感じないことこそが異常と言えるでしょう。
そうだな。よし、もう少し調べてみよう。
Oh
この
no,
寺
the lake.
裏側に池があるんだ。
You want to stay away from
あ
that
っちの
lake?
方にもいくつか建物がある。
It is said a dragon lives in that lake. There may be a clue at the place people consider holy. We go into the hallway and head behind the temple. At that instant...
シロ！
Oh.
セイバー！
I'm shoved back into the temple by Saber. I realize Saber's pushed me, try to get back out to the hallway, and... The exit is shut firmly by Saber.
セイバー！おい、何のつもりだ！
Alright, wasn't expecting a fight so soon. Okay. I bang on the door. I don't know what kind of magic it is, but the door is as hard as steel.
何やってんだ！開けろ！セイバー！
The door refuses to budge even when I throw my weight against it. From the other side of the steel-like door...
そこで身を守っていてください、シロ。この相手は確実にあなただけを狙ってくる。
敵ってなんだ？あの影が！
違います。ですがマスターにとって天敵と言えるサーバントです。申し訳ありませんが、あなたが戦場にいては守りきれない。
Servant is a natural enemy of masters. Which one is
あの
that?
サーバント。ア
Assassin.
サシンには
Okay.
一騎打ちで臨まなければ
Right?
先
Yeah,
に
that
マ
makes
スターを
sense.
叩かれてしまう。
Because assassin is not a strong servant, so it's like rather than take on the other servants, he takes out the master.
アサシンだって。
I didn't even sense him. Even though the air is strange here, a servant's presence is a different matter. The magical energy should be apparent if a servant takes form near us. Even if he hid his presence, I should be able to tell, let alone Saber.
一撃で決着をつけます。それまでそこを離れないでください。
I mean, she's been able to finish every other fight in one blow. But even if Assassin ends up dying here, I wouldn't be surprised if he somehow came back, because that seems to be the theme of this route. Saber's presence fades. Her footsteps are loud. She must have repelled Assassin's attacks as she charged within range. I look around. I pick up a stick that's about the size of a wooden sword and strengthen it immediately. I have to make this into a sword and break open this door. Oh my god, you dummy! She literally just told you to be careful and, like, to hide yourself away. Ugh. An ominous feeling, a mysterious uneasiness fills my mind. This place. It feels like a fatal mistake to leave Saber by herself on this mountain, so I have to hurry in. Alright, I'll give him credit. His instincts tend to be pretty good about this stuff. Ooh. The lights go out. No, there was no light to begin with. The moonlight has been blocked off by clouds. I smell something. A smell of rotten meat and sounds of bugs flying around.
Zoken.
I glare into the darkness.
飛んで火にいるとはまさにお主よな、エミヤの小せがれ。
A snicker. It's that old Magus. He's hiding somewhere.
セイバー！
I ready the strengthened weapon. I have no fear even with a centuries-old monster in front of me. The only thoughts in my mind are of concern for Saber. She runs across the hallway to corner the skull mask. The 15 meters between them have been reduced to 5. Saber should be able to close it with one step and slash her enemy along with the skull mask. But the enemy knows that as well. He uses projectile weapons because he knows he'll be no match at close range, and he retreats because he does not want her coming near him. Although not as fast as Saber, the skull still retreats with the speed of a running beast. He slithers across the floor, not slowing down even at the corners. Does he have eyes on the back of his head, or is the mask on the back of his head? Assassin steadily retreats from his opponent, maintaining the distance between them. A spray of sparks. 3 daggers are released without any motion, but have no effect against Saber. Like Lancer, Saber has protection against projectile weapons. Lancer reads the course of the projectile attack, using the sound of cutting air and the enemy's murderous intent. Saber uses the sound of cutting air and her own instincts. Imperceivable attacks are not much of a threat against heroic spirits. It's those attacks that cannot be blocked, even when detected and understood, that are the fatal ones. In that regard, Lancer's Lance is appropriate to be called a noble phantasm. A weapon that always strikes the heart cannot be blocked merely by knowing about it. If one is to oppose the demonic lance, one must prepare a shield overwhelming the magical energy of the lance, have great enough luck to change the fate determined by the lance, or prevent him from using the lance in the first place. Compared to that, assassin's daggers are easy to manage. They can be fatal if they strike any vital points, but they're no different from throwing stones. Over 40 dirks have been thrown. Having used up his supply of daggers, Assassin finally stops. Saber stops as well, hesitating. The enemy that did not want her to come close has stopped. There's something for sure, and an ominous feeling surrounds Assassin. This is no situation where she can step in without care.
観念したのか、アサシン。
Saber knows it's best to kill Assassin now, but she takes a step back in spite of that. She should not advance. The instincts she has sharpened over the years that have kept her alive for a long time, those instincts are screaming, do not advance. Stay away from the deep darkness.
ああ、観念したともセイバー。
Now, if only Lancer had those same instincts.
こうなっては一撃で下されると覚悟したのだが、なぜ近寄らぬのかな？
That doesn't seem suspicious at all. Saber does not answer and raises her sword a bit. She points her sword at her enemy. There are 7 meters between them. It would take 2 steps to get close enough to strike. As a swordsman, she must close in on her opponent. But she has a secret technique that can be used at all ranges, though it can be used only once. Oh man, are you gonna waste Excalibur on Assassin? Assassin's black cloak flutters. He has no idea where the wind is coming from.
私などに語る口は持たぬか。まあいい。語るは自由だ。思う通りに語らせてもらおうか。
Assassin's voice is strong and clear, in contrast to his appearance. Saber narrows her eyes, thinking that his voice is similar to that of Lancer's.
しかし、よくもまあ弾いたものだ。
Oh, that's right, because
私
he...
の探検。
Does Assassin
見てないつもりで
absorb...
撃っていたのだが、お前には見えていたのか。
I can't remember if they said if he absorbs not just like their energy, but also their, like their abilities. That would be cool. If like Assassin, like the more servants he takes down, like he's able to get their powers, then he could be unstoppable.
実像は見えてはいないが、奇跡ならば読み取れる。見えないものを恐れるようなら、このような剣は持たん。
Skull laughs in agreement. What can he do throwing black daggers at an opponent armed with an invisible sword? Assassin keeps on laughing, being displayed with a great difference in the strength of their noble phantasms and their levels as heroic spirits.
そうか。私など初めから敵ではなかったのだな。所詮アサシン。まっとうな英霊に太刀打ちできるはずもない。もとより我らは影に潜むもの。そのような役割に選ばれる英霊など。
何？
故に我らが役割は暗殺のみ。サーバントではなくマスターを殺すしか能のないなり損ないがアサシンなのだ。さて、となると私の標的はただ一人だけだ。理解できるかね、セイバー。私の行動は全て君の主を仕留めるためだけのものだ。
Was Assassin just being like a distraction so that Zoken could sneak up on Shiro?
白。
さよう。お前の主は我が雇い主がもてなしている。私を引き離したところで急がねば虫どもの餌食だぞ。
Light emanates from Saber's sword, or rather, the golden sword is revealing its true shape.
ほう。風のまじないで刀身を隠していたか。なるほど。その風圧ならばその場からでも私を立てる。わざわざ七に踏み込むこともないというわけか。
The black cloak sinks. The prey he was supposed to lure in turns out to have a projectile attack. There's no place for schemes now. If Saber intends to kill Assassin without coming close, then he must close the distance himself to kill her first.
立場が逆になったな、アサシン。この風王結界、見事踏み込んでみせるか。
ひどい女だ。イナゴの群れに飛び込めという。さりとて、このままでは竜の方向が放たれる。これは身体極まったか。
The skull mask crawls on the ground. It looks like a spider on a wall. The compressed wind becomes a swirl of vacuum about to be released at Assassin. He must be insane. Does he think he can survive the fatal whirlwind simply by lying on the ground?
さて、どう見てもこれで最後になろう。その前に語らせてもらおうか、セイバー。お前は1対1ならば私に勝つと言ったな。
Saber raises her sword. He cannot withdraw even when he's talking. Saber is staring at Assassin. Even if Assassin were to teleport, she would kill him before it even took place.
だからこそ私をマスターから引き離した。主を守るというその判断は正しい。
Her sword is raised above her head. With the attack poised to strike, Assassin crawls even lower.
だが、そこにはお前自身を守るということが含まれていたのかな？
An inquiring voice. To that.
先を急ぐ。さらばだ、アサシン。
She's like, I don't have time for your monologue, my dude. Let's go. Get you just taken care of. Saber replies with a single attack. The match is decided. The windstorm is like a heavenly dragon, its serpentine body winding about to devour its prey. There's no chance of defense or evasion. This is like Lancer's lance. This is a blow that cannot be blocked unless one has more magical energy than invisible air. Assassin's magical energy is far short of Saber's. The only way for him to survive the attack was to prevent Saber from releasing it. But that is too late, and the whirlwind has been released. His black cloak will be torn to shreds a mere second after the blade descends. The dislocation of death closes in with a swirl. With that in front of him, Assassin charges, at the wave of vacuum with a yell of delight. Whoa, okay. An attack aimed for the neck. Oh, Lancer, right? He took Lancer's... Or, no, it pierces the heart. Sorry. I was thinking, I was like, is he using Lancer's attack? But no, that pierces the heart, not the neck. Saber repels it at once, and the black figure vaults overhead to land behind her. Shit. Oh, look at Assassin actually being a bit of a, an issue here. In a flash, he turns and slashes behind her. But Assassin has already jumped out of range. At the same time, the ominous presence she's been feeling has covered the ground beneath her. Ah, yes, he's using the stuff from the lake.
さて、2つほど運がなかったな、セイバー。
The shadow expands. The mud-like pollution invades on her silver.
一つは相性。陣よけのまじないは砂漠を行く者には必須でな。
Wow, he was like perfectly...
私が知る唯一の魔術が
He's perfectly paired up against her. Of all the things for him to have, like, resistance to is wind. Darkness swallows the pathway, a shadow that does not even reveal itself in spite of the white moonlight. And... she sees it dimly through the haze of her fading consciousness.
アサシン。貴様は。
そうだ、セイバー。もう一つは、この場所を戦いの場に選んだことだ。ここには良くないものが住むと、お前は気づいていたはずなのだがな。
She cannot even hear Assassin's words. She would disappear in a matter of seconds. The shadow swallows servants. Her body detests it before her fading mind. She does not care how. She has to escape, even if she has to use all of her magical energy. Only her feet have been engulfed. She fights with all her power, she could still break free. Even if she may lose most of her magical energy in both her feet, escaping the shadow is the top priority now. But...
そうはいかん。お前はここで消えるぞ、
He looks...
Saber.
He looks very similar to the assassin from, at least from what I remember of Fate Zero. I could be mistaken on that. The shadow is not her only enemy. The skull watching Saber get swallowed is death that finishes her off.
初めから。
1対1ならば勝てると言ったな、セイバー。そう。それが間違いだ。お前は1人。こちらは2つ。私はただ、お前の注意を削ぐだけでよかった。
I wonder if Assassin knew, like that was quite the risk he took if he didn't know what Saber's, like her noble phantasm was, that it had to do with the wind, and he has a resistance to wind. So I feel like in order for him to be so confident to set up this, like, plan, he must have known about her noble phantasm. The shadow keeps invading. Her existence rots from her feet. She cannot feel her toes or her feet. Her legs are already something that does not exist in this world.
サーバントはそのあるやるに抗えん。お前が真っ当な英霊ならばなおさらだ。比較的近い私でさえ、触れれば魔力を奪われる。純正であるお前では、触れられただけで正気を失おう。だが、それは惜しい。むざむざお前を消滅させては、私の目的は果たせない。お前の心臓は、私がもらう。
お前が。
おかしいか。探検はそこをつき、私とて影には近づけぬ。その私がお前を仕留めるのは不可能だと。
Murderous intent lights up in the skull. Faint traces of magical energy gather in his right arm. Assassin's right arm is a stick. A deformed arm without a hand cannot be used as an arm. It cannot hold a dagger, nor can it be used to strike someone. But now that arm bends. With the snap of breaking bones, it flaps like a tattered wing. It is an abomination. What a long arm. The clubbed stump at its end was actually the elbow. The arm was folded back at the elbow with the hand stitched to Assassin's shoulder. Saber's mind freezes. It will reach. That arm can reach her. It will reach her and rip out her heart. His arm flaps, sending a shudder through her body, and... the cursed arm is thrust like a lance. What? Okay, what? This is happening. Okay. A sound of cutting meat and gushing blood. Her blood drips onto the floor, staining the shadow in crimson. I feel like I made a wrong choice, but I didn't. I don't know how we're gonna be able to come back from this. We will. I don't know how, though. Madness leaks out from the skull mask. The outstretched arm is stained red. After finishing its job, the arm folds back to Assassin. It is severed at the elbow! Oh shit! Oh! But he still grabbed her heart. She's still without a heart. This is not good. I know she can heal herself, but like having her heart taken out? And the fact he was able to rip it out through like her plating too is impressive. Her upraised sword falls to the ground. Assassin's cursed arm did not reach Saber. Saber's sword had cut the cursed arm before. Okay. Okay, good. Saber's sword has cut the cursed arm before it could gouge out the reflected image of her heart. No matter how cornered she may be, Assassin's noble phantasm is not enough to kill Saber. No, as she has blocked Lancer's lance, which reverses cause and effect, she cannot allow herself to be defeated by this cursed arm. She's like, I refuse to be beaten by Assassin, like, weak ass. That is her last act of resistance. She has put the power to escape into the attack. She has no power to escape now, and even if she did, it's too late. The ominous presence now emanates from within herself. The shadow has invaded her legs and is now up to her waist. She's becoming a part of this darkness, which swallows up even the moonlight. Then everything is too late. The shadow creeps up. As her vision fades, the silver swordsman manages one last apologetic gasp before sinking into the deep mud. Mato Zoken is standing there, his figure just like before. His body, which Archer sliced in two before my eyes, is whole once more. The old magus that could only wait for death is laughing, as if that event was an illusion. I don't know how he did it, but if he really did recover from that state, it's more on a level of restoration than recovery. It's not just healing a wound. It takes great magic to restore a piece of one's body that has been lost. Then, isn't this called immortality?
さて、そのような棒切れ一本で何をしようというのかな、小僧。
I stand there while pointing the strengthened stick at Zoken. I can't charge at Zoken, nor can I retreat to follow Saber. If Zoken is immortal, a scrap of wood will never be able to match him.
わしを仕留めるか、サーバントの後を追うか。どちらにせよ、足を動かさねば始まるまいて。
Something is squirming around the old magus as he speaks. No, it's not just his surroundings. The darkness itself is moving, blocking the moonlight. I can tell, even though I can't see them. The darkness is probably swarms of worms. The walls of this temple are covered in something darker than darkness itself. The space is filled with the sound of creeping worms and the smell of rotten meat.
どうした？何をためらう？先日わしの腹を立ってくれたのはお主たちであろう。当坂の小娘と組んでわしを始末する腹ではなかったのか？
It's obvious he's enjoying this. I can't fight off thousands of worms with just this stick. I'll be swallowed in these worms once Zoken gives the order. Or maybe I might be able to escape if I sprint for the exit. They're just worms, even if it is a horde of them. It should take them more than a few seconds to kill a human being.
よいぞ。わしはいくらでも待とう。セイバーの帰還を信じて待ち続けるか、その武器でわしを仕留めるか、それとも我が虫どもを振り払い外に出るか、好きな死に方を選ぶがよい。
Huh. It seems he has no intention of letting me go. The worms increase in number as we stand here glaring at one another. Okay, so we have a it's been a while since we've had a Tiger Dojo. Actually, this might be one of the first ones I've done in this route, if not the first one. I know that there are some that I could have gotten in chapter 7 and then this chapter by making decisions earlier, but I'm going to wait until like I'm doing my final parts of the route to like go and get the stragglers, you know, like to go back and make the decisions to get those ones. So I know that there's like an extra one in day 8 and day 7, but I'm gonna do those later. But with this one, we want to use the command spell, but of course I'm gonna get the Tiger Dojo first. Okay, so we're gonna attack Zoken. It's obvious that the situation is getting worse by the second. Then I'll escape this danger while I can still move. I'll beat that old magus before all the worms can crawl at my body. My attack doesn't feel effective. A diagonal slash cuts the old magus from shoulder to hip. Scraps of flesh scatter across the temple.
なるほどなるほど。思い切りの良い小僧ではないか。
The head on the ground laughs. I feel like this is going to be a really disgusting, gross Tiger Dojo. My weapon crumbles to dust. Damn, he sacrificed his body just to rot the stick I strengthened.
爪じゃな。決起に流行って唯一の武器を失うとは、いやはや若い者は我慢が足らんの。
I run, stepping on the worms in my way. Death follows close on my heels. I try to escape the waves of worms attacking me. I ram the black wall with my shoulder. Unable to stop my momentum, I fall and roll on the ground. Oh no, he's right by the lake though. So he's either going to get absorbed by the lake or he's going to get devoured by worms. The worms aren't coming after me. It must be because I ran frantically as I end up on the other side of the combat. Or they're scared. They know that this lake is nothing to fuck around with, so they're staying clear. I must have landed funny as my whole body is hurt. I have to find Saber as fast as I can. I have a bad feeling. I have to see Saber's face to reassure myself that she's alright. Yep. The water surface rustles. Sensing danger, I jump back. I get my feet away from the wet mud. But I'm only able to jump back for a split second. A sharp pain. I feel something strange on my heel and look down. It's red. My feet are missing from the heels down. I stepped on numerous worms during my escape. The strengthened stick rotted just by slashing at Zoken. Then it's natural for my feet, which stepped on these worms, to follow the same fate. I try to crawl out of the mud using my arms.
いやいや、惜しいの小僧。判断自体は間違えていなかったのだが、実力が伴わなんだ。
The worm user's voice echoes. The muddy ground. Since ancient times, spiders have dwelt in the damp places of the earth.
さて、セイバーは手に入れた。残念よの。お主を生かす最後の理由もこれで消えてしもうたわ。
Worms I've never seen before come scattering down. Hundreds of poisons that bite on my skin, crawl in my flesh, and melt my bones. I had to bear the unimaginable pain until my consciousness faded away. Alright, man, I feel like the OG, like the ones from the first routes, especially with Berserker, like they went into horrifying detail about like how much Berserker like destroyed his body, and now I don't want to say I'm disappointed because it is gross, but at the same time I was expecting a little bit more of a descriptive description about how they just like ate him all up. Alright, let's see the Tiger Dojo.
いらっしゃい。些細な選択ミスでデッドした城を救ういつもおなじみタイガー道場です。今回は選択ミスによるデッドエンド。小難しい説明はしないから直前の選択肢に戻って違う行動を。
そこ不法侵入者。
手戻り。
嘘のっとりおこがましい。私がいない間に何をしているか、元弟子1号。
違和感なく溶け込んだのにあっけなく見破られた。
どの面下げてそういうこと言うかな、このブルマは。で、どういうつもりよ。あなた本編が忙しいから道場には来ないんじゃなかったっけ？
これはちょっと予想外のパワーバランスになってきたっていうか、ほらタイが一人じゃ寂しいだろうから帰ってきたっていうか。
それで？
もうプライド大安売りお願いするっす。もう一度弟子入りさせてほしいっす師
うん、全身全霊で断る。路頭に迷えブルマッコ。
匠。やったー。だからタイガってば大嫌い。こうなったら力ずくだ。見てなさい。次に来るときは問答無用で征服してやるんだから。
わっはっは、望むところよ悪魔っ子め。魔術なしでどこまでできるか楽しみに待つとしよう。ガハハハハハ。
Alright, so I'm wondering if by using my command spell I'll be able to get Saber out of that mud, or the shadow, whatever. So we're going to use the command spell. Should I use the command spell? I don't think Saber will lose to Assassin, but this situation is too ominous. We're fighting this ancient monster. It's too dangerous to have Saber by herself.
ほう、不出来な殺気を上手に畳み打ったな。何やら考えがあるようだが。
He laughs, mocking me. He's looking down on me, not caring what plan I have. Fine, laugh all you want. If the command spell can answer the Master's wish, I'm ready to use them all to bring Saber here.
Saber!
I can concentrate on my left hand while glaring at Zoken. I have only one command, to summon Saber to my side. Even if he realizes what's happening, it's too late. Heat lights up on my left hand. The concentrated magical energy is released as I wish, and... Oh, that was the last one? The command spell loses its color with a slight pain. I want to think it's because I failed. I want to think I used it wrong because I don't know how to use it.
どうやらことは済んだようじゃの。脅かしおって、寿命が10年ほど縮んだぞ。
He laughs. I hear wind in the distance like a death cry. I feel a pain on my left hand. My left hand is prickling. My command spell loses its heat as if it's bleeding. I have a bad feeling. I have a bad feeling. I have a bad feeling. This is the right choice. It was, right? It was. The pain on my left hand. The sound of wind has stopped. The old magus is laughing with murderous intent that is almost visible.
いや、紛れもない現実よ。お主もマスターならばわかる。オノガサーバントがこの世から消滅した事実がな。
My brain stops. My vision freezes. What is this guy saying?
何をほけておる。セーバーは死んだ。隠したと侮ったアサシンに敗れた。そんなこともわからんのか、小僧。
What the hell is he talking about? My left hand hurts. My left hand certainly hurts. But my command spell is still there. It's fading, but it's still there. Then Saber should be coming any second now.
ではしまいにするか。当坂の小娘はまだ使い道があるがな。お前はこれで用済みよ、小僧。セーバーともども我が聖地で死に絶えるがよい。言ってんじゃねえぞ、てめえ
I run. I charge at the enemy in front of me as if to shake off the ominous thought and the pain in my left hand. I charge at Zoken and swing my weapon with full force. I swing my weapon down onto his head. But something obstructs me and my whole body is flung away. My back slams against the wall. I must have been hit in the stomach as I can't breathe. My back is numb as if scorched with fire. I hear worms crawling about by my ear. The worms by the wall scatter to avoid being crushed by my landing. Even the squirming sounds of a mocking tone.
間に合ったか、アサシン。では小僧の始末もお主に任せよう。セーバーに比べれば楽な作業。ゆるりと楽しむがいい。
Zoken disappears, and in his place, a white skull mask is smiling in the darkness. That must be the servant assassin, an assassin with a black outfit and a white mask, appropriate for Mato Zoken. I'm going to die. Pain on my left hand, my numb mind. My heart accepts the death coming in the next moment and pounds loudly. And I accept the weapons thrown at my forehead, throat, heart, and stomach. And then, of course, somehow Saber manages to survive and come in. A flash of silver light repels the weapons. The 4 daggers that tried to take my life are blocked with a sword. There's only one person who would do such a thing. My left hand still hurts. The command spell is still there. Then... I raise my head. The one who's come to protect me from the white-masked servant is... What? Okay, did not see that coming at all. What the fuck? Huh? Nobody expected that. A servant dressed in black, just like assassin.
Right.
There's no doubt about it. This is Shinji's servant, Ryder. Why is she here, and why did she save me?
おのれ、わしに逆らうか。構わぬアサシン。邪魔をするのなら、そやつもしますせい。
Oh, unless the only reason Ryder would come in is if that's somehow Sakura or Sakura's controlling her. The skull answers Zoken's screamed command. The long hair flutters. Ryder silently turns to assassin and... she confronts the daggers that are fired like rain. They move too quickly for mere human eyes to follow. The masked figure leaps about the temple. He jumps from the wall to the ceiling, then from the ceiling to the floor, hurling daggers from each position. Coming from all directions, the daggers can neither be blocked nor avoided. The relentless onslaught carpets the floor in knives within seconds. Ryder can't manage this. I know how strong she is from the battle with Saber. Really? You know how strong? She got killed in like 5 seconds. Assassin's attack is something even Saber would have trouble blocking. It's natural for Ryder, who's defeated by Saber in one blow, not to be able to cope with the attack. The White Skull mercilessly fires his weapons. It looks like an attack containing irritation. I realize the abnormality after the superiority is made clear. They have not hit her. Not a single one of the daggers has struck its target.
Sama.
A voice comes from overhead. Apparently out of knives, Assassin looks down at his enemy with undisguised loathing. There exists one giant serpent. I can't believe it. So many. Ryder evaded the countless daggers with pure speed. It's different from when she saved me. Ryder avoided all the daggers while crawling on the ground as if saying there was no need to repel them.
何を遊んでおるアサシン。我が孫のサーバントといえど容赦はいらん。早々に片付けんか。
And did Zoken know that Ryder was he must have, right? He must have had a sense that she was brought back. I think so. Did he go down there with Shinji, or did Shinji drag her down there?
それはできない。こやつ。以前とは違う。
She's got something to do with Sakura, right? Like, why would Ryder, especially Shinji? Shinji would never have Ryder protect Shiro. He wants Shiro dead. Assassin stares at Ryder while clinging to the ceiling. Ryder is different from before. Her magical energy and coercion is on a whole new level. Even if she's still not as strong as Saber, she certainly is stronger than Assassin.
貴様。
Ryder doesn't answer, but her body sinks even lower. The instant I realize her movement is a gesture to aim at her prey. Ryder jumps up to the ceiling, and Assassin jumps down to the floor, their blades clashing in midair. Oh! They land facing away from each other. Ryder is unwounded. In contrast, Ryder's dagger is piercing Assassin's shoulder. Assassin tries to pull out the dagger in his shoulder. Then, with a clinking of chain links, Ryder hurls Assassin through the air. Oh, this is awesome. I'm so glad Ryder gets a badass moment after being so unceremoniously, like, taken out in not just this route, but the previous route as well. Like, she was taken out off screen last one, right? Because she was, like, basically killed in the classroom and we didn't even see it happen. The skull mask lets out a scream of anguish. Not saying a word, Ryder continues to mercilessly swing Assassin about the room. It's just like a flail. Unable to do anything, Assassin is smashed against every surface in the room, his limbs bending in all directions. I would love to see this, like, in an anime. Like, just almost comedic. I duck to avoid Assassin coming around with a whirlwind. This isn't on a level of being strong. After flailing Assassin to her content, she uses the centrifugal force and lets go. It's a hammer throw. Assassin, his bones broken, is thrown at a wall head first. He flies away. Like a piece of lifeless trash, the masked servant bounces through the compound, out the gate and down the stairs, leaving a trail of blood behind him. Still, what happened to Saber? That is my question. How brutal. I'm sure servants aren't so weak as to die from that, but he should be unable to continue fighting at the very least.
愚か者が。
Zoken's presence disappears. The old Magus must think he's at a disadvantage since he flees after snarling a curse at Ryder. The worms that were squirming in the corner disappear, following their master. Alright, let's see. What has been updated here? Let's go back to the abilities. Okay, so it's still saying that Mato Shinji is her master, but that's just what we assume, right? Throwing daggers, divine protection from wind. So yeah, we don't know his true name yet. Hides one presence as a servant suitable for spying. Once he has erased his presence, it is almost impossible to find him. However, the rank of presence concealment drops substantially when he switches to attack mode. I'm brought back to my senses from the pain in my stomach where Assassin hit me. Only Ryder and I are in the temple now. I take a deep breath and try to calm down. Then, I realize the only pain I feel is in my stomach and back. Instinctively, I know what that means. I endure the dizziness as I head out to the hallway.
待ちなさい。一人で行動するのは危険です。
お前。
There's no enmity coming from Ryder. It seems she actually came to help me.
お前、どうして
I don't care why she saved me. More importantly,
お前はシンジのサーバントだろう。なのに、どうして俺を助けてくれたんだ
I want to go there quickly, so why am I taking my time?
あなたを死なせてはいけないと命じられています。
I see. That's fine. I don't believe her, but it's good that I got an answer. More importantly, I have to hurry and go there. I understand right away this is the place. The corridor is dead silent. The whole place is destroyed as if a storm passed by. In it is a small red stain on the only part of the ground that hasn't been destroyed. I can't tell whose blood this is, but my legs lose strength the instant I see it, and I crumple to my knees. She is not dead! No way! I reach out and touch it. The blood is dry and it doesn't stick to my fingers. The only thing that stain tells me is she disappeared here.
私の役割はあなたを守ることです。
No, we gotta... Can we get her out from the shadow or whatever swallowed her up? No, it's like when she was temporarily away from us when she was trying to be controlled by Castor. I refuse to believe that she's gone. How many times did I hear that line? Those words were comfort and a source of worry. She only cared about me, and she never said anything about protecting herself. I scratch at the mark. Saber fought here and fell here. That's what happens in battle. I knew before I made a contract with her that this would be a battle to the death. I accepted the fact and took her hand. She merely answered me. The girl who protected me, even though she was smaller than me. When I told her I wanted to put priority on the Black Shadow over the Holy Grail, she simply nodded, ignoring the premonitions of her end. And this is the result. I lost her. I lost my rights as a master, and back to being just an amateur. I'm now alone with no means of fighting. I have to carry through with what I have to do.
行かないと
I slowly rub the bloodstain one last time. That's it. I don't bow or thank her and let my fingers go. Pain assails my left hand and it disappears. Oh shit, yeah, it's straight up her command spell's gone if she's dead. The moment I acknowledge her death and say goodbye, the command spell on my left hand disappears without trace. One does not lose the command spell just because one has lost his servant. It only disappears when the Magus loses his right to be a master.
Zoken.
Damn, this is insane. I don't know what happened here tonight. There's only one certainty. I lost Saber and lost my rights as a master. Like, we're on day 8. This is... what? I don't know how far I'm into the... but I feel like we're not even halfway through this whole thing, and what? People did tell me this was certainly a different route. It does not follow the same kind of formula as the previous ones. I wasn't expecting this, though. I leave the Ryoto Temple. My stomach and back seem to be wounded badly, but I'm not worried about the pain right now.
送ります。敵がいなくなったとはいえ、夜道の一人歩きは危険ですから。
I stop unintentionally. All of Ryder's words tonight are unexpected.
わからないな。それもお前のマスターの命令か。
いいえ、そのような命令は受けてはいません。これは私個人の感情です。ただ、
そっか。それなら信じるけど、見送りはいい。
She could be like, we're not enemies because you're not a master anymore.
そこまで世話にはなれない。
敵同士。では、 あなたはまだ私たちと戦うつもりですか？セイバーを失った魔術師でもないあなたが。
I don't answer her. First of all, I never said I'm out of this war.
そう。わかりました。せいぜい道中気をつけなさい。
Her long hair flutters. Ryder heads to the mountain gate ahead of me. Is it because she looks so defenseless?
サンキュー。
I mutter something I forgot to tell her earlier.
え？
She turns around looking surprised. I'm embarrassed to see a reaction like that, but I have to properly thank her.
あなたは今、
And she's asking me seriously, too. It's awkward to stare at her straight on, so I avert my gaze.
だからありがとうって言ったんだ。お前に助けてもらわなかったら死んでただろう。見ての通り今は何も返せない。だからせめて礼ぐらい言っとかないとお前に悪い。
お気になさらず。私は主の命に従ったまでです。主の命が変われば、すぐにでもあなたを殺します。
With those cold, emotionless words, Ryder disappears through the mountain gate.
だろうな。だから世話にはならないって言ったんだ。
I start walking after Ryder disappears. I can think later as to why Ryder saved me. It takes an hour to get home. I have to shake off the lingering memory of her in that short time. Also, how is he going to explain to Sakura, unless she knows if she's involved in this somehow, that Saber is just gone? I return to my house. It's already past 1 o'clock. I put my hand over my mouth as I cough up blood. My stomach still hurts from Assassin's attack, and my back still burns from hitting the wall. I don't know how badly wounded my stomach is, but I bet my back is just scratched. The wounds that healed so quickly before aren't healing at all because Saber is gone.
そうか。以前に戻ったんだよな。そりゃ。
When I had my contract with Saber, wounds healed themselves, but that's lost. Even a slight wound could prove fatal now.
先輩。
Then, when I go into the front hallway, I find Sakura waiting for me.
あれ、さくら、どうしたんだ？こんな夜更けに。もしかして起こしちゃったか？
いえ、寝つけなくて夜更かししていたんです。そしたら先輩の靴がなかったからどこかに出かけたのかなって。
ああ、ちょっと出歩いてた。
Come to think of it, the light was on when I came home. Then was Sakura waiting here the whole time?
さくら、ずっと玄関で待ってたのか？
いえ、そんなことないです。ちょっとおトイレに寄っただけで、たまたま玄関にいただけですよ。
He was waiting here. It's been over 3 hours since Saber and I left. Maybe Sakura noticed right away and was waiting here all this time.
それより先輩、お茶にしませんか？こんな時間ですけど、あったかいお茶を飲んでゆっくりすれば元気が出ますから。
I'm surprised. Sakura's really pushy right now. I must really look terrible if she's forcing herself to act this way.
ああ、頼む。それと、ただいま。さくらに声をかけずに出歩いてすまなかった。
Even if she doesn't know about the Holy Grail War, maybe somehow she, by, maybe something with the worms or whatever, like she has some sort of innate knowledge of this, or like knows like instinctively that something was wrong and that's why she couldn't sleep and she sensed that like something had happened. I take off my shoes and go into the hallway. I hold my aching stomach and head to the living room. With me in front of her,
はい、おかえりなさい、先輩。
Sakura looks relieved. I wince with pain but lie on the cushion and bear it. The disinfectant keeps stinging my back. The sizzling sound makes it feel like I'm getting my back scorched.
さくら、痛い。消毒薬はもういいから、傷口を拭いてガーゼでも貼っといてくれ。
ダメです。背中一面真っ赤なんですから、ちゃんと消毒しないといけません。それに、痛いのは当たり前です。 こんな大怪我をして帰ってきたんですから、少しは我慢してください。
Is it because of the archery club or Fujine that she's merciless toward injured people?
先輩、他に痛むところはありますか？
あ、いや、怪我したのは腹と背中だけだ。他は何ともない。
そうですか。なら、あとはガーゼを当ててテーピングするだけですね。
Sakura handles the first aid kit with practiced ease. She looks so intent on it that I don't want to interrupt. Well, let's explain why this is happening. It's because I threw up the tea I drank because it stung my stomach. I didn't want Sakura to find out, but that gave it away. I had no choice but to tell her how badly I was hurt, and now she's treating me. She wasn't that much of a devil to begin with.
怪我ってお腹ですか？
When I showed her my stomach, she was blushing so badly she couldn't treat me.
さくら、本当にいいのか？手当てなら自分でできるし、無理しなくていいぞ。それに背中はもっとひどい。
大丈夫です。やります。やらせてください。
She was so flustered that I half expected her to faint when she saw the wound on my back.
先輩、そのお洋服脱いでください。
I didn't want to stop Sakura since I couldn't treat my own back. I did as I was told and let her treat me. Still, it was so bad she couldn't do anything for a while. She stared at it for a few minutes and started treating me after a gulp.
行きます。
That was 20 minutes ago. It's past 2 o'clock now. Sakura's careful treatment is about to end.
はい、終わりました。新しいシャツを用意しましたから、こっちを着てください。
ああ、もう終わったのか。サンキュー、さくら。
いえ、先輩もお疲れ様でした。
I put on the new shirt and take a deep breath. There's nothing to be done about my stomach, but my back feels much better. I'll sleep face down tonight, and hopefully it will be better tomorrow.
さて、それじゃ寝るか。こんな夜更けに起こしてすまなかったな。
いえ、そんなことはないんですけど。
Sakura hangs her head. It seems like she wants to say something but can't.
さくら、俺がいない間に何かあったのか？
先輩、セーバーさんは帰られたんですか？
I get dizzy for a
セー
second.
バーさんは帰られたんですか？
In a sense, I guess. When I hear the words from someone else, the reality of it finally sinks in.
ああ、急な話だけど、あいつは帰った。もう戻ってこない。
I endure my dizziness and answer calmly. It's not like it's a stupid question. Of course she would think something happened if Saber, who was here 4 hours ago, was gone. But I have to put on a strong face and act like nothing's wrong.
セイバー、最後にさくらのことを言ってたよ。さくらは思い詰めるタイプだから、もっと気楽に行けってさ。
そうですか。セーバーさんとは仲直りしたばかりだったのに、お別れを言えなかったのは残念です。
I can't even nod to that. Saber disappeared before I could even say goodbye. The fact makes my heart feel so heavy that I want to vomit. A collaborator for only 6 days. My partner for only 6 days. How can I repay her, the one who was my sword, for only 6 days?
でもよかった。あの人が来てから、先輩、怪我してばかりだったから。これで今まで通りですね、先輩。そうですよね。何をしていたかは聞きませんけど、先輩はセーバーさんのために出歩いていたんでしょ？けど、そのセーバーさんも帰ってしまったんですから、先輩が危ない目に遭うこともない
Oh
じゃな
man,
いで
wouldn't
す
that be
か。
fucked up if she knew about Saber and the Holy War and she's like happy that Saber is dead? And then she's like, I'm glad she's gone because then you don't have to fight anymore.
いや、セイバーがいなくなっても夜に出歩くのは続けるけどな。セイバーに付き合ってたんじゃなくて、 俺がセイバーを付き合わせてたんだから。
Maybe this is gonna, like, this'll be the turn, like, Sakura's gonna turn, like, all yandere on me. I stand up. My tension is gone now that the treatment is over. I'm getting really sleepy. Maybe she'll start drugging my food and drink so that I can't leave.
おやすみ、さくら。それと今の話な。明日からもっと家を留守にするだろうけど、さくらは今まで通りここを使ってくれ。今夜みたいに帰りが遅くなる時もあるけど、気にせずちゃんと眠ること。さっきみたいにずっと玄関で待ってるってのはなしだぞ。
はい。おやすみなさい、先輩。
I rest my body. I didn't feel it until now, but I'm dead tired. Drowsiness overtakes me the moment I lay down. But before I do so, I glare into the darkness to prepare myself. What Saber lost against, and what I should be fighting. I have to accept them here and now. It hurts just to think about it. My body's trembling and my mind is about to lose against anger or fear. It's that shadow, that thing that attacks people without discrimination, the black shadow that even Saber and Archer fear. I know with certainty, even though I didn't see it. That's what defeated Saber. Assassin cannot defeat Saber. So if there's something at the temple that can defeat her, it's that shadow. I have to beat that thing that beat Saber. On top of that, I'll have to deal with Mato, Zoken, and Assassin. Zoken said there's no more use for me now that I'm no longer a master. So long as I stay in the Holy Grail of War and search for the shadow, Zoken will continue to haunt me. A shiver runs through my body. Saber is not with me anymore. I have no miracle that heals my wounds, and the only weapon I have is magic as a half-assed magus. I know this is reckless, suicidal choice.
戦うと決めた。正義の味方になるって言ったんだ。
I lost Saber because of that. I've walked in Kuritsugu's footsteps ever since the fire because of that. My only option is to stop the war so such a disaster will not occur again. So this will be the only night I'll tremble in fear. When my wound heals and morning comes, I have to act strong so the girl who disappeared can be proud of me. Okay, now we're gonna get stuff from Sakura's point of view. Please, let me be right about this. Like, Sakura somehow, she knows about the war. She's doing something to help us out. The girl returns to her room. She walks with heavy steps to her bed and sits on it.
先輩、あんな怪我をしたのに、まだ。
I wouldn't be surprised if Ryder just shows up in her room and like, what would you like me to do, master? Like, whoa, what? Sakura's the master? She doesn't know what happened. The boy looked as lifeless as a starving man, and his body was covered with wounds. The golden-haired girl who first appeared here several days ago has not returned. From this, she can tell something has happened that can never be undone. The boy's hiding something, and the golden-haired girl will not return as a result. But such things don't matter. For her, such things are trivial. She doesn't know what happened, but it's fine as long as the boy is safe. For her, having Emiyashiro come home is an unparalleled joy. And here we go. Now she's getting sick again. She shivers and brings her hand up to her forehead. It's hot. Her body's burning up and she has to fight to remain conscious because there's bugs in her. It must be a light cold. She rarely gets sick, but after waiting in the hallway for nearly 3 hours, it's hardly a surprise. With sluggish movements, she reaches over and turns off the light. She lets herself fall to the bed, lacking even the energy to change clothes.
大丈夫。こんなの先輩に比べたら全然だし。
The girl recalls what she saw a few minutes ago. The wounds on his back, almost as if the flesh has been grated. The blackening bruise on his stomach. His eyes still strong and clear in spite of his condition. Her temperature rises as she remembers. The girl pretends not to notice it stems from the hatred she feels.
誰があんな。
Yes, she doesn't know who did it, but she can't forgive this person. It's not temporary dislike or annoyance. He's been wounded all this time, but he's stayed beautiful. She cannot forgive anyone that hurts someone important to her.
けど先輩の背中
She reaches out her hand in a daze. It's been a while since she last saw his naked skin so close. When they first met, he was small for a boy and was about as tall as her. But in the 2 years since then, he's grown into a man. Something stirs beneath the sheets. Trapped between her body and the bed, her hand slowly creeps down between her legs. It's different from when he collapsed from a cold. Back then, it was a cold and nothing more. Tonight, it was the body of a wounded man.
先輩
Thinking about it causes her to space out. He must train without a day's rest. His body is sturdily built without even an ounce of useless muscle. His graceful build is like that of an antelope, and has the beauty of having inner strength, one that allows it to jump up precipices that is not apparent.
胸だって広かったしすごく
Her outstretched fingers run across the chest that is not here. She unconsciously runs her fingers across his body. They run from his chest down to his stomach. Crawling across the bedsheets, her fingers travel below her belly button and... Her face turns bright red.
ごめんなさい
She quickly pulls her hand back. She even turns her ears red and curls up on the bed. It shouldn't be this embarrassing, but her memory is too vivid. The feel of his skin beneath her fingertips only made her imagination more concrete. But is that what caused her to heat up? Oh, here we go. Her heart starts to beat faster. It's too late to stop. Her body is hot. Her mind is in a daze and she can only think of one thing. Her limbs are heavy and it feels as if she's turned into a puppet. Her breaths are unbelievably hot. Is it because the heat is escaping from her body? The heat invades her brain and melts her memory, intelligence, reason, and morals, making her think of only one thing. The heat takes over her body and the limbs are out of her control. But dirty desire creeps up from within her. She doesn't stop. She moves her fingers, which were just tracing Shiro's body, down between her legs. Her fingers start to move wildly as if to match her breathing. The wet sound slowly gets louder into something indecent. The feeling of guilt excites her even more. His wounded body. Thinking about the blood on his back makes her dizzy. The girl who won't be coming back. The realization that once again, he's all hers. Many lies. Dark emotions unthinkable for her usual self draw her down into a darker passion. But those are trivial matters. What she's truly glad about is the boys come back to her. But it's not enough. Tonight made that clear. He cares for her, but he tries to protect her by keeping her away.
ダメですダメです先輩私もっと先輩にそばにいてほしくて
She knows it's a greedy wish. Her passion gets worse because it's a wish she should never speak of. A wish that will never come true.
ごめんなさいごめんなさい先輩
A heated masturbation. The repeated repentance cools off the girl's temporary madness. She stares at the ceiling absent-mindedly. The overwhelming self-hatred after the climax is familiar to her, but a heavier agony assails her tonight. The wounded body. He said he intends to continue fighting, even after receiving such wounds.
どうすればいいんだろう先輩このままだともっと大きな怪我をしちゃう
He thinks as her body sweats. It's a worry without an answer, a problem the girl cannot solve. She cannot come up with a way to stop him, even if she thinks all night. But... Yeah, right? Yandere.
外に
All mine. He's all
出さな
mine.
ければいいんだ
I wouldn't be surprised she starts, like, drugging his food or spiking his tea. She reaches a simple answer with a calm voice. Delighted by her sudden insight, she smiles and...
歩けなくなるくらいの怪我をしちゃえば
Okay.
もう危ない目に遭うことはないですよね
Okay there, Annie Wilkins. What the hell? Oh my gosh. You gonna smash his legs with a hammer? What girl? Whispers to herself with a sigh of relief. Oh, I love this. Dark Sakura. Dark Sakura arc. Here we go. Alright guys, well that was a relatively short episode, but holy cow did we have a lot of stuff happen. Like, absolutely wild. That fight with Assassin, the fact that Saber is gone? I refuse to believe that. She's gonna be coming back in some way. I mean, we've seen other servants come back, so I don't think that's gonna be the end of Saber. But still, heartbreaking all the same. I'm praying that she's not gone for good. But also that thing at the end with Sakura, ooh, seeing the deep thoughts that she has, the dark thoughts about, like, the possession that she has, becoming that, you know, that yandere a little bit, like, how can I keep him to myself? I know, I'll just hurt him badly enough that he can't leave me. Like, ooh, I love it, I love it. Like, she's just such a sweet character, and I don't know if it's something with the worms, or some sort of, like, something that is giving her those dark thoughts, or if it's just amplifying them and like turning her into something scary. But color me intrigued. I always thought Sakura was a little bit of a boring character, but this so far, like this episode especially, right at the end, it's making me be like, okay girl, okay, let's see some more of this. I like it. So that's gonna do it for me, guys. Hopefully you like this episode. Thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned next time to see more of the Dark Sakura arc. Until then, bye. Shoutouts to my top tier patrons: Salieri, Revealing Storm, Amlife, Icognito, Saturn Sins, Doubless91, Harry Gazip, Kenju Storm, and Lynn's VA.